Testing one, two. Thank you. Good evening, folks, and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Captain Buffalo Soldier Show. Coming at you live from Seattle, Washington. Yeah, happy Thursday to you. Good evening, and welcome. Another episode of Captain Buffalo Soldier coming to you live from Seattle. Uh, I got a lot going on, but rather than to make it all about me and my personal life, I want to once again reiterate what it is that our topic is about ending poverty. So once again, I would like to welcome you to another episode of Captain Buffalo Soldier this Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. We all survived the holiday of October, which is Halloween, my favorite holiday. As I said, it makes children all on equal footing. You know, as far as gifts and prizes, you got to get out there in the street and get it. And now we got the number two holiday, which is Thanksgiving coming up. So we all gonna eat till we bust. Love turkey and wish everybody well in this holiday season. Now, once again, as I say, Captain Buffalo Soldier is about poverty and about ending poverty. So I should say it's about prosperity. Uh, we have another cool evening here in Seattle. It's not raining like it was last week though. Um, yeah, back along the lines of poverty, I had mentioned a couple of shows back an organization that I was involved in, which is Victory Outreach, which was a church founded in La Puente, California, under the leadership of Pastor Sonny Argenzoni, who is a Puerto Rican minister that came up during the Nicky Cruz, David Wilkerson era. So Nicky Cruz is an evangelist whose story was told actually in a Pat Boone movie of called "The Cross and the Switchblade," which came out in the '60s. So Nikki Cruz was played by Eric Estrada, who starred in the Chips California Highway Patrol series when he was a young man. So very interesting story actually, which kind of mirrored the play that had actually also been made a movie called West Side Story, which was redone recently and won a bunch of awards. I like to mention here at Rainier Avenue Radio, we have a lot of different shows coming on, and tomorrow we actually got a double hitter football coverage. Am I right, Daniel? So we got high school football coming at you once again. There it is up on the screen. So you want to tune in for that. Those and support our young people as they make their way through high school football in hopes of having a college future and maybe some making it to the pros. So these are the best of times to support our young people in their athletics. So once again, high school football, Rainier Avenue Radio. You could donate also to through our Venmo, Rainier Avenue Radio, to help keep these messages on the air and give people an opportunity to have their voices heard through Rainier Avenue Radio .org, Rainier Avenue Radio .world. Uh, Captain Buffalo Soldier coming at you once again live from Seattle. For those who are wondering, okay, I was born James Ross, okay, James Edward Ross out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to Eldora and Dempsey Ross. Um, so there you have it. I'll get more into that upbringing a little later on in the show. But once again, Victory Outreach, the ministry that I was involved in when I was a youngster in my early 20s, back in the 80s, I had came out to California, and I wasn't necessarily headed for Hollywood. I mean, I didn't have that specifically in my mind, but it was on the back burner, I guess, of a possibility that I was headed toward fame. and working in show business, which I did a little bit, but I wasn't hungry in pursuit of a an entertainment career. Uh, which I am doing now at this later stage in my life, as I say, because I have purpose with it now. It ain't just for me to have shiny stuff, but to solve the equation of homelessness and poverty. So Victory Outreach, as I said, was founded by a Puerto Rican man named Sonny Arganzoni, and primarily makes provides services to the Mexican gangbangers coming out of prison. And so these men coming out of prison can be sentenced actually to the to rehab, or released into the custody of the rehab facility, and so they have men's and women's homes that they house people and live under the strict guise of Bible teachings and uh, uh, traditional drug and alcohol rehabilitation processes, void of the 12-step process done with the system that Bill W. had created under the umbrella of Alcoholics Anonymous. And so I'm mentioning these programs and church services to say that, and following a similar format, homelessness can also be tackled and also be eliminated from our society. So here locally, um, and across the nation and abroad. The disagreement that I have with the way that the church had run its operation is that once persons have completed the rehab process, they then were released to go find a job and to make things happen, had to pay rent or whatever, make something happen on their own, and there was a very limited amount of time to uh, get established and to get back into society. And my point being is that that process should never be. So within the, I would like to have an organization that would have that mechanism already in place within the organization, uh, that a person can go to work right away and have all their needs met, and also have a vehicle by which to maintain healing, and to go through the healing process, and to study also, and to have more time to devote to self. So I don't believe that a person should spend most of their life working. So I believe uh, 4 days a week, 4 hours a day, with enough personnel that a enough time can be put into the production processes of whatever are the goods and services to be maintained, uh, to keep a steady flow of that, and then give the persons who are working and participating in this lifestyle move to be able to earn the funding that they need for when they finish their contract, to to be able to reestablish themselves in society, if that's what they mean, if they would that's what they would like to do, or to sign another contract and do another year. So that also that I had in mind, I don't know if I shared that persons would come into the organization under contract for a year. So there wouldn't be, I don't foresee paychecks going out every week, but to have persons come in, sign a contract, and then at the end of that year's contract, get one lump sum, and I have a vision for $15,000 to $20,000. So that's a big difference, as I say, from the process that is in place now, and would um, set the bar for these other organizations to change their processes to stay competitive in and with the homeless commodity. So it's sad to recognize the truth that homeless people are commodities to these organizations. So that's what I'm calling out into the light. And excuse me, I want to introduce my drink. This is wonderful stuff here. Um, it's purple because I've blended some blueberries and strawberries together with grapes and some ginger and garlic, and I started out making smoothies with this. This is the product called the magic. It's the parent to the magic bullet. So the magic bullet is the smaller one. This is the next one up, which is the neutral bullet. Yeah, that's it. So I've only had it a couple of days, but it's really addicting. I've just been making smoothies for hours on end. So I didn't understand what all the rage was about the smoothie, but now I'm making them for myself, and I'm just getting lost in the possibilities. Not only the drinks, but soups and stuff too. That I could make the roux, which is which I learned a word I learned in New Orleans, which is the broth to the soup. So I could put celery and onion down in there and grind that up and make a paste for my soup bases. And so I'm really excited about that. That my nutrition game is changing, in other words. So once again, Captain Buffalo Soldier coming at you live on Rainier Avenue Radio in Seattle, Washington. And we are located in Capital City, uh, Columbia City. I'm sorry. I looked around as if somebody was whispering over my shoulder. Okay. Yeah, so I've been to a lot of towns, a lot of places, and so sometimes I could get lost in the sauce with it. But Columbia City is where we're located in Seattle, Washington, on Rainier Avenue Radio, coming at you live from Seattle, Washington this Thursday. And once again, Captain Buffalo Soldier is about attacking poverty. I believe in that poverty is a social condition that can be eliminated from our cultures across the board. And I've seen it. I saw this when I was a kid. How it happened. We have people right now who are living in these fixed type of social structures, who are working for organizations and programs and providing them excellent service just for a place to live. So we have people that have been conditioned and programmed with uh, textbook would to describe as institutionalized. And so these institutionalized people are taken advantage of by these programs to provide the uh, the grunt work, if you will. So these people are working in the trenches for little to no money, and simply for a place to live. And I like to see it come to an end. I like to see people receive justice and fair treatment, and and opportunity at some prosperity and mental and psychological growth. Um, so once again, Captain Buffalo Soldier coming at you live from Rainier Avenue Radio, and you can donate to the radio station uh, um, to help with offset the expense of cost of maintenance and as personnel and electricity, the whole nine. Um, if you'd like to donate to me personally, I can give you that information as well. But you've got to contact me by email at mr.jeross@mail.com, and I'll be glad to share that information with you about my Cash App. Now, I'm Captain Buffalo Soldier because I own that name. Captain Buffalo Soldier is copywritten, registered at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. And I did that when I was in the Caribbean. So I spent 2 years in the Caribbean 10 years ago working on my book, and it's published on Amazon Kindle. And I've had a friend of mine, as I said in a previous show, who recommended that I publish Kindle. A rich man told me that I shouldn't spend money on something that hadn't made me money first. And that man was Myron Golden. Now, Myron didn't start out rich. He actually was my sister's boyfriend. Is how we met, I guess. that I got to know him a little bit better when he was dating my sister. But and I think it was her loss that she didn't marry him, because I know that Myron was interested. But anyway, he found himself another queen and raised a beautiful family. And all the details of his personal life, I'm uncertain of right now, because we since have not been close as men. But he's a media personality, so he's a does public speaking engagements and teachings and things like that, and was doing well with different pyramid operations, so he's been about money. And he wrote a book called From the Trash Man to the Cash Man. And that was because when he was young, I remember he drove a garbage truck. Yeah, so he started out coming to get the trash, and now he's coming to get the cash. So that's how he laid it out. Byron Golden. So I'm mentioning him once again because he reached out to me on my TikTok page. So I'm on TikTok and also Twitter. Briefly, I was on Facebook for a moment, but it got a little bit too close to home for me, and dealing with all my kinfolk that was also on Facebook. So let me take another hit of this juice, if you don't mind. Excuse me. And there we go, Myron Golden's book, from the cash man to the trash man, from the trash man to the cash man. So that's my friend Myron Golden. They're promoting his book. Yeah, so he offered to give me a copy, but I didn't have an address for him to send it to at the time he offered it, and I don't think he understood that. Yeah, so I'm coming out of homelessness, and I don't have any shamed about that, because I know what kind of effort I put into this life. I've been to a dozen different countries around the world, and I've been to all the states, including Alaska and Hawaii. And I don't know very many men that'll go to the top of the world looking for a job. Okay, so I've done that, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not looking for a job, but I do believe that prosperity is coming to me, and it is my intent to use more of my mental faculties than my physical strength. So. I've been here in Seattle now for a couple of months, and as I say, I've tried it in cities all across the country, and just the doors open up for me here as why I'm back. Um, Once again, we're at Rainier Avenue Radio, Rainier Avenue Radio .world, Rainier Avenue Radio .org. You can make your donations via Venmo at Rainier Avenue Radio. Uh, we appreciate you your support. I'm Captain Buffalo Soldier, and you can follow me on here at on YouTube. If you hit that subscribe button, that'll let you know each time a new video is about to come out. Okay, Captain Buffalo Soldier episodes. Once again, Captain Buffalo Soldier is about ending poverty, and I believe that the formula that needs to be implemented is one that will make the beneficiary and the benefactor one and the same. So the persons who are receiving the service must provide the service. And I have a vision for an organization, one that would participate alongside businesses in the production of goods and services. Uh, Excuse me. Yeah, so the production of goods and services, be it furniture, uh, food products, restaurants, clothing, shoes. These are the types of things that I had in mind. And I like to catch some of those guys coming out of prison. I mean, I really hate the idea of prison, and knowing how the system reduces these men to animals and really the things that they do. And I don't like to insult nobody, but guys know the prison, know what time it is and what's going on in these places. And I don't necessarily fault all of these men that everybody don't have the mental capacity to be able to uh, come out clean on the other side, like the character in the movie Shawshank Redemption. But what I'm saying is that we have to make a choice to allow ourselves mentally to go down that road to cause that kind of harm to another person. So I'm very skeptical about using people's out of the prison system, primarily because of the sexual aspect of it. That judges and people that work for the sheriff's departments and these private prisons and things, they deliberately put men together in the hopes that they would rape and molest each other. And that as a um, this is something that I've been seriously looking at because we as a society, that's part of what it is that we need to do to make the correction to that this not be able to continue into the future. And I really learned something about that. As being an American, we have a tendency to believe and to promote the fact that everything is great here in America and that we've got the best of everything across the board, and including prison. So when talking prison here in the United States, the first thing that the American mentions, well, you don't want to go to prison in Mexico. These Mexicans have a reputation for being very harsh and cruel, and you might not even get no food to eat if you're locked up down there. I heard your family have to come feed you, but uh, so that's very serious. But the counter to that is this: well, what's it like in Canada? So I've never heard anybody mention anything about jail and prison in Canada on this argument, and until me. So now I've got some information because I've actually been to jail in Canada. So I crossed the border illegally into Canada as part of my movement about and seeking social and economic freedom, to say where is it, what is it, how is it that I crossed the border into Canada illegally, and the border patrol on the American side called the Canadians and let them know I was coming, so they was waiting for me. So I crossed a farm at nighttime, and I thought the farmer was looking for me, so I turned on my flashlight so he could see me, but it was the police. So they ordered me to lay down on the ground and and keep my hands where they could see them. So when I laid down spread eagle, they released the dog on me. So the dog bit me twice on my right arm, and almost immediately swung my legs around and wrapped around the dog's neck and cut the air off so I could pull my arm free. And so I was holding the dog, and then they caught up to me and beat me up a little bit, but I didn't mind a man's fist in comparison to a dog's teeth. And then they realized I was holding the dog wasn't holding me, so they ordered me to release the dog. And so I let the dog go, and then the dog bit me on the ankle, which was painful also, but not as painful was it chewing on my arm because there was more meat there. And and then they begin to question me why the dog is holding on to me. So it was like, no, I'm all by myself. So I'm not mad. I don't blame the Canadians. I mean, they were technically dealing with a foreign invasion. you know. So they arrested me and took me to jail. And the reason I wasn't deported right away is because I claimed refugee status, which I knew beforehand was part of the legal process of deportation. So once I claimed refugee status, they had to then uh, uh, take me to trial. So in the process of that, I was released after a couple of weeks, and on the condition that I obey all Canadian laws and report to immigration 4 times a week, which I thought was pretty steep. But I just wanted to hitchhike north into Alaska because I didn't have the money to fly up that year, and Later on, I went back and was issued a formal deportation order, but at the time, I really wasn't interested in staying in Canada. But anyway, that's how I learned about Canadian jails. So I was in like 3, 4 different facilities, and one thing that really was I found interesting was the situation with television. So anytime you go to jail in the United States, anywhere you are, they'll have one television if they have one at all, and they'll have 10 to 50 men that will share that television. And I don't know who has experienced this, but if you walk into a jail, any big city, and you got 50 guys watching Kim Kardashian walk around, and you figure you're gonna walk up and change the channel, you might get yourself killed. Yeah, so that's information there for anybody that end up in jail that don't know the rules. But the difference in Canada is that they have a flat screen TV in every cell. You know, how cool is that? And I was still getting the impression I was in jail, but I was laid back watching back to back Schwarzenegger flicks. I mean, I had the remote control. And the funny part about that is I tell a joke in my stand up routine is that I had a Puerto Rican cellmate, and but he didn't want to admit that he was Puerto Rican. He said, "I'm a French Canadian." He sounded like Rosie Perez. So I had to stay in the TV to keep from bagging up talking to him because he was tripping me out. Because I got Puerto Ricans in my family, so he can pull me. I don't know what kind of lie, what reason he was trying to tell the Canadians he didn't want to come back to America, but he had done something, I guess, to somebody, wanted to disappear. But anyway, yeah. So that's one aspect of jail life in Canada that's completely different than the U.S. And I'm saying, if you don't know, if you haven't been anywhere, it's easy to pull the wool over your eyes. And that's it for my time. And I really appreciate y'all tuning in. And I hope you enjoyed this week episode of Captain Buffalo Soldier, coming at you live from Seattle, Washington, Rainier Avenue Radio. Once again, you could donate Rainier Avenue Radio on a Venmo. Peace and love here, Captain Buffalo Soldier. Reach out to me on my email. That's Mr.jeross@mail.com. Captain Buffalo Soldier, found on uh, TikTok and Twitter, which is now X. Now that we got Elon Musk to thank for that. But peace and love to you here. Y'all have a great weekend.